Now, every organ do have a worst enemy, and the liver is not left out. Your liver's worst enemy is unhealthy fats. I mean, trans fats and some other processed foods. Now, if the organ that is involved in processing a lot of things, almost everything in your body, including drugs and medications that comes under attack, what do? It's a very worrisome situation. Now, a good number of you are often worried because of fatty liver. I have come across so many people complaining of fatty liver. I have also been afflicted by fatty liver during the years of ignorance. Now, how do we come about fatty liver? We have alcoholic fatty liver, afflicting people with alcoholic issues. Those who are alcoholics, who are often taking alcohol, they often have this challenge of fatty liver. But then a good number of you also who are not taking alcohol oftentimes go for test, and you're surprised that fatty liver is the diagnosis. This is because of our lifestyle. And in this very video, I want to share some of the top foods to help you stop a fatty liver. If you have been diagnosed of fatty liver, or you are concerned or worried that you may have fatty liver, it's not something actually to be too nervous about, because it is one of the organs of the body that can easily heal itself. I'm talking of your liver. If you have some symptoms, you may suspect fatty liver. Symptoms like rashes on your body, always having skin issues. If you are often having problem with sleep, maybe your tummy is big. When the tummy becomes big, it's always usually a point of medical attention, because most times it doesn't show most of these signs. But if you have symptoms like yellowing of your eyes, these situations are usually often when the situation is already getting very, very bad. Then it may be that you are already having fatty liver. And while the liver is still even struggling, you could be eating some foods that are even sponsoring and aiding the situation. Again, if you are often feeling pain by the right hand under your breastbone, that is the location of the liver. You need to also know that maybe there are inflammations around your liver, and so you need to do something. And most times it is natural solutions. I mean, lifestyles and food choices, making changes in this aspect that often give lasting solution to. Because if you rely too much on drugs, you may have to be giving the liver more work to do, because most of these medications still come with other preservatives, and we still need some form of processing while the liver is already sick. And so what should you be taking if you suspect or have some of these symptoms, or even more symptoms than this? Then you need to, first of all, stop feeding the disease. And how do you do it? By making these changes in your diet. Stop the fries. Those of you like frying your food, it's one of your liver's worst enemies. You fry your potato, you cannot eat your chicken unless it is fried. Stop it, because you are already building up for fatty liver or sponsoring an existing fatty liver. Most time when the liver is under attack by fats, a lot of people are not aware. A lot of us are not aware. We continue to eat the wrong foods. So stop all those fried foods. Stop the processed food, the trans fats coming from breads, biscuits, and all such foods, butters, margarines, that are one of your liver's worst enemies. These are the foods you need to avoid, because before you start talking of curing or stopping the disease, even if you are going for medication or whatever, you need to stop feeding that disease. And these are the foods I'm listing for you. You need to stop them. The next thing is caffeine. If you are fond of caffeinated teas and beverages, You need to stop them because they are not also your liver's friends. If you take too much of carbohydrates, I mean large amount of carbohydrates, you are also destroying your liver. Doesn't matter your age, whether you're on medication or not. Too much of carbohydrates, whether it's natural carbohydrates, high amount of it is not a friend to your liver. You are often consuming foods with gluten. Gluten is not your liver's friend. Foods like wheat, yes, a lot of people will be shocked to hear this because they are still arguing that wheat is good for you. Wheat is a high fiber food, but most grains are also in this category. It's not just wheat. My humble advice is that you should reduce the grains if you suspect that you have fatty liver or you are already dealing with fatty liver. You just have to reduce the grains, and in particular those with gluten like the wheat. Now, a good number of the grains are also having gluten hiding somewhere. That is my own observation and finding with grains. Whether it's fermented grains or whatever, you must be cautious, but not to say that you should avoid all the grains altogether, because the big group of vitamins are among the foods that are your liver's friends. And so you need to be cautious with the grains and then reduce stress. If you think you are already having fatty liver, reduce stress, reduce the butters, the margarines, all those stuff, or any other breakfast cereal that contains such foods. You need to also be aware of them. And the last one is that a lot of you, when you suspect or you are diagnosed with fatty liver, you just tend to run away from fat. Now, this is one of the biggest mistakes you should be making. Now, if you have been diagnosed with fatty liver, that is not to say you should stay away from healthy fats, because your liver needs fat to function. Almost all the organs, there's no organ in the body that can effectively deliver its work without the presence of fats, healthy fats. Foods with healthy fats profile, like the olive oil, the cold pressed olive oil, the cold pressed coconut oil, avocados. These are good fats, but you must deliberately avoid the unhealthy fats, and they are hidden in some of the biscuits, breakfast cereals, and all such processed foods. You must stay away from them. They come with high amount of salt and other preservatives. And if you're already having issue with your liver, you need to stay away from such foods. Now let's look at the foods you should be taking if you want to stop a fatty liver. Garlic is one of your liver's friends. You should start including garlic, chewing it on an empty stomach occasionally, and then using it to cook your meals. Then ginger is also another healthy food that helps your liver to drop some of the fats and inflammations. And then you need to also start including cabbage, other cruciferous vegetables. Cabbage, onions is also among the list, the liver friendly foods. Then carrot is also another liver friendly food that you need to start taking. You can take it on empty stomach. Don't take too much of these ones that are high in sugar. Best on empty stomach, to help your liver to detox, to support your liver to throw out existing fat and not bring in more fat. You need to include leafy greens. Green vegetables, one of your liver's best friend. All kinds of greens, especially when they are lightly cooked, because they will not introduce inflammations and will not equally bring fat. Then, in addition to the leafy greens, include occasional bitters. Bitter foods are great for your liver, especially if you suspect fatty liver. Bitter foods like the neem tea, once in a while, you make yourself a bitter tea. It could be from the bitter leaf, could be from the neem tea. There are other bitter foods, even in various regions. And just make yourself a tea out of those bitter foods. in order to help your liver to cool it, just like an engine. When you are bringing all the sugars, all the foods, you will agree with me that a good number of the foods in our environment are either sugar or carbohydrates. And so sometimes these things overwhelm our organs, like the liver. And so you need occasional bitters, because some people don't even bother about bitter foods. For some, for 6 months or more running, they've never tasted something bitter, including the children. And so the liver, sometimes even the kidney, most of these organs, they need a little touch of bitterness once in a while, because this bitterness will not only aid digestion, because when they are stocked with fats, oils, and you bring in things like bitter leaf or other bitter foods, neem in little amount, it helps in a lot of ways to aid digestion and to throw out some of these fats. Lemon juice. Now, a lot of us are familiar with lemon juice in your warm water. Yes, great. But the lemon peels also are great for your liver. If you have access to the dried lemon peels, you can make tea out of it. Or you can cut the lemon with the peels. Ensure that it's properly washed, so that you get the benefit from the lemon oil and then the lemon juice in order to support your liver. Now, apart from the lemon juice, vitamin C generally from naturally occurring vitamin C is also a good friend of your liver. Most citrus are also in this category. Now, the tamarind fruit is high in sugar, but very, very healthy for your liver. But then, if you are worried about the sugar in the tamarind, then go for the tamarind seed. As a matter of fact, that's what I use these days. Whenever I consume foods that are high in carbohydrates, or, of course, most of our foods are high in carbs and then sugars, but always remember the fibers. Then, whenever I consume food, full meal with full stomach, I usually take the tamarind seed. I chew 1 or 2 tamarind seed, because the tamarind fruit is great for your liver if you are not concerned about your blood sugar. But if you are concerned about sugar, you need to start to take the tamarind seed just the way I'm doing. I just dry fried it, dry roasted it, kept it by my bedside. So anytime I suspect that my digestion is not as smooth as it should be, I just chew 1 or 2. And so most times one, just tiny seeds. You can see them. Very tiny, but don't joke with foods that are small or tiny. Seeds. Don't joke with them and then go consume 3 or 4 or 5. Say that because of the size. They are very powerful and they are very potent. So that's what I take because of the sugar, and occasionally I do take the tamarind fruit, the juice, but because of the high sugar, I of course normally add the cloves. Cloves is another liver-friendly spice. If you are worried or concerned about fatty liver and you want to stop fatty liver, you need to start to chew occasional cloves. 2 or 3 a day is okay. It helps you with your blood sugar. But those that are managing high blood pressure should also be cautious with cloves, because it can also trigger elevated. All these spices, all these foods, they have their good sides and their ugly sides. So you don't have to overdo it. Just 2 cloves is okay. Even taking the cloves as part of your diet a few times in a week will help to heal, will help your liver to heal, because it does not only kill some bacteria and parasites, it aids digestion and help reduce fungal activities, because fungals also create their own problems. And so if you consume antifungals like the cloves, it's going to kill off a lot of them, just like an antibiotics will do. And not only killing them off, it's going to stop or reduce inflammations, whether around your liver, and then start the process of healing. The cloves. Several other spices abound, but not all of them and I mean not all of them, does this work in supporting your liver to heal of fats. Inflammation is the root cause of many of these diseases, including fatty liver. Fruits like avocados, when it's in season, is one of the fatty foods that are good for your liver. If you include avocados, it's rich in nutrients and it's not going to make your liver more fat like I used to reason. Cold pressed coconut oil is another healthy oil. Always stick on the healthy fats and healthy oils. If you have issue or you want to preserve your liver, you want to stop fatty liver, you must stick on only the healthier oils that are, most of them are also good sources of vitamin E, because vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant that supports your liver and helps it to heal. You need to include nuts. It's always difficult when people are diagnosed with fatty liver. They begin to wonder, what should we be eating then? Eat nuts in moderation. Nuts are rich in nutrients. Seeds like sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds. Nuts are great for you if you take them in moderation in order to help you meet up with your nutritional requirement on a daily basis. Then you need to include proteins like the black-eyed cowpea. The legumes are great for you because you need proteins. Protein is the building block. You cannot afford to just compromise or just eat anything. Be sure you are getting sufficient daily protein because it's one of your liver's tools that it needs in order to heal. And finally, you must beware of sugars. Sugar is not your friend. It's not the friend of your liver when you are trying to heal. If you are overweight, work to drop your weight if you have fatty liver, because it's not going to help your liver to heal. Too much fat in your diet, and these fats are not coming from fat as you are thinking or taking fats. They're actually coming, most of them, from processed foods, high carbohydrates. When the carbs are in excess, they start creating inflammations. So you must watch out for high carb foods. They are your liver's enemies, please. You need to note this because it's something I have personally experienced. You need vitamin B rich foods because they are usually non-toxic, and your liver also will not have to store them as some other nutrients that coming from unhealthy fats. Healthy fats from fatty fish are also okay for you if you are trying to heal of your liver. Take them in moderation. Moderation is our rule. And if you are coming this way for the first time, or you have issues trying to remove fat or deal with fatty liver, kindly click the subscription button and join our community for more help in this regard. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to share this message if you like it.